It's been confirmed roof panels at the billion-dollar Perth Children's Hospital are riddled with asbestos. And the Chinese company that supplied them also did work on Fiona Stanley Hospital and the new Perth Stadium.
Today we're taking to the streets of Perth to look into people's opinions on the recent finding of asbestos contamination in the materials that are going into the new Perth Children's Hospital. Does this impact the workers? Does it impact the people on site? And will it have an impact on the building going forward? We'll find what Perth has to say on that.
Having asbestos in a health centre, not a great idea.
Yeah, that should not have happened in the first place.
Hopefully nobody's actually inhaled any asbestos. But, and I think it's great it was caught early, before the children were in the hospital.
I'm pretty surprised that in this day and age you can still find asbestos in building products.
The unions have every right to consider their members first in this instance, and obviously the building codes or import requirements need to be re-evaluated, I would have thought.
Who do you think in this case should be held accountable?
The builders and whoever built the hospital first and checked it before they went ahead and built it.
The project guys who are involved in it, so whoever are the stakeholders, should be held responsible.
I think John Holland should be accepting the risks, and they should be held to account for employing contractors who are using subgrade or substandard materials.
I think that there's somehow been some form of systemic flaw in that particular contract's purchasing of those products from that Chinese manufacturer.
Obviously something's fallen down somewhere, but also the how the material got approved in the first place needs to be looked at. Yeah.
The Australian state is fantastic, but obviously everything gets rubber stamped with it. Once you comply initially, then how do you address it? How do you stop it from coming in unless you inspect absolutely everything that hits the shores?
And in this case, what do you think could be done differently to prevent this in future?
As far as the Australian construction building industry is concerned, it's really up to the industry to know what it's bringing in. And there should be some form of check and balance before those products even get off the ship.
I don't think there's one answer to that, and I don't think there's any one entity responsible. How far do we go? Do we start looking at all new builds, testing where there could be asbestos or not asbestos, or non-standard equipment that's been used, or I don't know. It's a massive issue.
Well, it's not only the Children's Hospital, there's about 12 other buildings, I understand, that are going to be subject to an audit to see whether they have similar concerns with it all. So we're probably going to end up finding there's going to be a class action there somewhere along the line, because these guys have all had their lives put at risk because of the finding.
Given the scale of these projects and the impact that these findings of asbestos in the contaminated materials will have on the projects themselves, this is a serious matter. You've heard what Perth has to say. I'm sure you have your opinions about it at home. Bas Tadros for Undercurrent.